welcome to Hangin' With. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. And if you haven't already, go on down here and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you come back over and over and over again. If this is your first time hanging with us, thanks for giving us your time and for tuning in. We want to start out by thanking our partners over at Something Unique Magazine, Books, Chocolate, and Wine, the Florida Book News, and Authors for Author. They're helping to share these videos all over the World Wide Web, and we are very grateful for them today. We are here today hanging with novelist, screenwriter, and author Ed Protzel, whose latest work just was released to the World Wide Web on December 8th, The Lies That Bind. Ed, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Garrett. I sure appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you what, tell us a little bit about The Lies That Bind. I know it just came out in December. Tell us a little bit about the story and where this came from.
All right. The Lies That Bind is a tale of intrigue in the antebellum South. The main core of it is a visionary charlatan on the run encounters a group of slaves stranded in the Mississippi wilds.
Wow.
Together, they form an egalitarian plantation, but for the town, the charlatan pretends to be the master and they pretend to be a slave. Actually, the brains of the outfit is one of the slaves who ran his previous master's plantation.
Wow, that is fantastic, man.
Yeah, they collide head on with the people that run the town, a family that is run by a reclusive matriarch who controls everybody, but her heir apparent, who's people call the loneliest person on earth, and he's so lonely that he does bad things which could expose their secrets, which could also be fatal to them and bring down their empire. So everybody in the story is living a complete lie with a rogue or a mob threatening them.
Wow, and of course that is, that's going to invest your readers so heavily into this world because no matter which character they're following, they're going to be heavily invested in the outcome of this.
Yeah.
And now I understand you actually have a master's degree in creative writing from the University of Missouri at St. Louis. Is that correct? And what drew you onto that path, creative writing path?
Well, it's really kind of always what I wanted to do, and I got into writing screenwriting and so forth, and did some of that, and I just wanted to pursue it. It's what made me happy, and I had a lot of encouragement from professors and writers and editors and so forth and so on, that, gee, you have this talent, go for it. And I did.
Well, and you had people obviously that encouraged you and inspired you. I was looking at your bio, and you have quite a few inspirations that you draw from when you're writing. And can you tell us a little bit about that? And what draws you to those particular writers?
Well, and I think what I call it is the American tragicomedy movement, which are things that are dramatic and tragic, but they're also funny. And so I love William Faulkner. I've read everything he wrote many times. Tennessee Williams I draw upon, Flannery O'Connor, that type of American concurrence. But also there's a lot of great writers for example, in South America, excuse me, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the magical realist. I draw quite a bit on that. So, you know, it helps me create these worlds and then put these people in there. And it turns out great. For example, I consider The Lies That Bind almost a new American myth. You take people that are unalike and from different backgrounds and throw them into a wilderness area, and they have to learn to get along to survive. So in my book, there are conflicts within the group, within the partnership, the egalitarian partnership. There's also conflicts within their opposite, and the structures are kind of equal. The establishment, what you might call the old world structure.
Wow. Well, and you know, you called it right on the head, kind of a new American mythos, because so much of what we know as creative writers and students of literature has come from ages past, before there was an America.
Yeah.
And so we really have been creating our own mythos. I just did a report for our blog post, our Hangin' With blog, about modern folklore and the fact that America has produced some very unique folklore, but that it hasn't been classified as such because it's not the Brothers Grimm. I mean, I argue all the time, crime noir is West Coast folklore. It came from the San Francisco Bay Area and worked its way into the movies and places like that. So we really are creating our new American mythos as we speak.
Yes.
And speaking of which, and it can come in all different ways, which brings me to my next question. You actually have been a screenwriter, and you've worked in your bio. You've done quite a few screenplay adaptations of things, and you have, I think I saw 3, if I'm not mistaken, complete screenplays that are on there. So tell us a little bit about that side of things and why you draw your inspiration for that.
Yeah, actually, The Lies That Bind is based on a screenplay I wrote that got quite a lot of attention, and it was recognized by Missouri playwrights and so forth, and got offers for options and so forth. But I was pulling out of that business then. But again, as you said, it's creating mythologies. A favorite I wrote that the side of the business I was on, which meant the underside, you know, I was a newcomer, they kind of borrow from your original ideas. Maybe you've had that experience. But wrote another one called Earth Excursions, which I may novelize as well because Lies That Bind turned out so well.
We caught the synopsis to that one on your website, and I think that'd make a wonderful novel. So I hope you'll do that.
Yeah. And I got the idea from when I was living in Hawaii. The Earth has become a vacation planet for wealthy aliens. So it's not us looking at the aliens, which is typical in science fiction, but it's the aliens looking at us.
It is amazing that you say that. Our last Hangin' With show that our viewers can go back and take a look at, we just got done interviewing Alan Dean Foster,
Yes.
who in his career has been quite prolific, and that's one of the advice pieces that he gave to us was, you know, it is fun to see things from the alien's point of view. Get inside the alien's mind, and then you'll be able to write a good alien because you're inside their world and their mind. So I mean, it's just funny that you should say that. You know, that's the whole notion of your story is get inside that alien's mind and find out why they're coming to this little blue planet for vacation.
Yeah, it's a great mystery. I saw your interview.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It's terrific.
Oh, thank you very much. It's so much fun for us to do what we do and to share writers and authors with the World Wide Web. And so now you've been at this a while now. I know that The Lies That Bind is that the first published work, or is it?
First,
I know it's the first in the
novel, and I've got others underway, and I'm focusing pretty exclusively on novels at this time.
Outstanding. Well, and The Lies That Bind is actually part of a series, right? So there'll be more to come on there. So what's next in the series?
All right, the next in the series is Honor Among Outcasts, and that takes place in Missouri. I don't want to tell you how they got there, but I will tell you briefly that Missouri was the nastiest, dirtiest part of the Civil War. I mean, massacres, whole regions, what was called Little Dixie, wiped out from the north,
wow.
murdering prisoners and raiding civilians. So My characters, my nice people, wind up in this terrible spot, and they've got to learn to deal with that and deal with each other.
Now, not to give any spoilers here, but now that's the second book in the series. Where's the series headed? What's the last book?
And the third part is going to wind up in California with Dirk Hurst, my main character, and Antoinette being the governor and first lady of California, a very embattled governor and first lady of California against the establishment. So,
Wow, that's going to be, what a fantastic journey, though, from the Civil War East Coast South to Missouri and then now over to California. You're just kind of crossing the country in an era of, when we were crossing the country. So that's going to be an amazing read. I can't wait to see the next two books come out. Now, as you have been getting started in publishing, what would you say are some of the most daunting challenges you faced if you had to look at a young writer and tell them, this is what you're in for, kid? What would that be?
have courage, because you might get rejected 100 times for the best book ever written. I'm telling you that in advance. When I first started, and this was some time ago, I had agents tell me this is the best book we've gotten, period, but we don't think we can sell it. So
Wow.
that business end of it, which you'll have to face, but write to please yourself, just write every day. If you don't feel like writing, that's the day to write, because that's the day, in resisting writing and not wanting to write, you'll have a lot of anger and a lot of resistance, and that's when you'll come up with the most interesting characters and events and twists and things. So,
Writing from the heart, that angst and that anger and all of that frustration that you have, just pour that onto the page, right, and see where it goes. And now, similarly, you've just had your first novel published. You've had screenplays that you've worked on before. What is the most rewarding experience? What's the most rewarding part about being a creator?
oh, I think just seeing these. I have a lot of creativity, and it's got to go somewhere, Garrett. And
Yeah.
just being able to sit down and control your own world, and it's really not totally controlled, because I kind of create these characters, and they write a lot of the story for me. I've just got to keep in there and keep it developing, keeping the tension high, and so forth and so on. But they kind of know where they're going, and I.
Well, you get to be the great cat herder, right? Because you start these characters on their journey, and then they take off, and it's your job just to steer them toward where you want that story to end up. So, yeah. Now I know you've also got some ongoing projects. Tell us a little bit about what you've got coming out, next, or what you're working on right now.
I'm within a couple of weeks of finishing my next novel, and it's called The Antiquities Dealer. And it's about a St. Louis antiquities dealer who is drawn by a former lover into a conspiracy by a group, by a secret Israeli society, to clone the great minds of history, beginning with Jesus Christ. And it's got, like all my writings, they have a lot of twists and turns and so forth, and secrets that are revealed and all that type of thing. This does have mysteries in it, though. It has murder, and assassination, and torture, and that type of thing. The Lies That Bind does not, but even without people getting killed, The Lies That Bind is very tense. So it does.
Yeah. Oh, this is pretty heady stuff that you're writing here for the next one. So that's that's going to keep your readers, I think, really engaged, and I can't wait to see when that comes out. Please make sure that we're on the list to be notified.
Evolution, millennial religion, it's all there. There's a TV evangelist in it, and God's Left Tackle is in it, the former NFL football player. Jihadis, radicals of all the major religions are in it, trying to get the object that the main character's after, the antiquities dealer's after. It's a thriller, a mystery thriller.
Wow, well, everybody out there on the World Wide Web, The Antiquities Dealer, coming soon to bookshelves everywhere. Now, where can people find you online and on the World Wide Web? We're going to put them down here in the description when we finish up the interview. But now, where can people on the World Wide Web find you, Ed?
All right, I'm at www.edprotzel.com. Protzel is like pretzel with an O, Protzel, so www.edprotzel.com. And the book can be found on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, so forth, online.
Outstanding. Well, that's terrific. I know also for our viewers out there on the World Wide Web, if you're on Facebook, look Ed up. He's on Facebook. He has his Twitter. He's out there. So if you want to know what he's working on and where to go and where to find him, hit the social media sites and you're bound to find Ed Protzel. Okay, and hit over to Amazon and grab yourself an ebook for your Kindle. Go on over to Barnes & Noble, grab yourself an ebook for your Nook. Or grab the paperbacks. It is a great time to get to talk to writer to writer and to share that with the rest of the web, right?
Yes, definitely.
As we wrap up, another special thank you to Something Unique Magazine, to Books, Chocolate, and Wine, to the Florida Book News, and to Authors for Authors. They help share these videos and these authors on the World Wide Web. Ed, thanks for being with us today, man.
Thank you, Garrett. I really enjoyed it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm G.W. Pomichter. We've been hanging with Ed Protzel. Remember, please subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.